All right, picture this. It's Friday night. You had plans, but then you get that text. Hey, so sorry, have to cancel. Now be honest, as you're typing back, no worries at all, hope you're okay, what's that feeling washing over you? Is it a little bit of disappointment, or is it a secret, undeniable wave of pure relief?
Yeah, if your first gut reaction is relief, you are definitely not alone. For so many of us, that feeling of an evening suddenly opening up is just bliss. But it's so often misunderstood, right? People might see it as you being lazy or antisocial, or maybe that you're just, avoiding life. But what if that pull to be home isn't some flaw you need to fix? What if, like this quote says, it's actually a sign of something much deeper, a real strength? Well, that's what we're going to dig into. We're going to break down the psychology of why staying home can feel so good and why it might just be your own personal superpower. Okay, so let's get into the science of this because it's fascinating. That feeling, it isn't really about avoiding people. It's actually this incredibly smart, intuitive awareness of what your body and your mind truly need. And it all comes down to your nervous system. Psychologists have a name for this. It's called optimal arousal theory. And it basically flips the whole script. The idea isn't that you're fragile or you can't handle things. It just means that your nervous system gets to its just right level of stimulation way faster than other people's. Think of it like a social battery. You've got folks with a high stimulation preference, extroverts a lot of times, who actually recharge by being around tons of people. For them, the noise, the energy, the chatter, that's their charging port. But for others, maybe for you, those exact same things drain the battery fast. And you recharge in the quiet, in the stillness. And look, neither one is wrong. It's just about how you're wired. I mean, even a super fun social event takes a ton of mental processing, right? Your brain is constantly tracking conversations, reading body language, managing expectations, just absorbing the energy in the room. Each little thing is a tiny withdrawal from that social battery. So by the time you get home, you're not just tired, you are full. And this is why home feels so incredibly good. It's the one place in the world where your entire nervous system can just exhale. It can finally drop out of that high alert monitoring mode. There's no one to perform for, no need to scan the room, no bracing for the next interaction. You control the sounds, the light, the pace, and your body reads that control as safety. It's such a profound relief. Now, there's this giant misconception that staying home means you're being unproductive, that you're not doing anything. But what if I told you that quiet time is actually when you're at your absolute most powerful? Let's talk about how that stillness actually becomes a creative superpower.
People who genuinely enjoy their own company almost always have these traits. And here's why. Remember that monitoring mode we were just talking about? Well, when you're home, that switches off. And that's when the magic happens. Your brain is finally free from processing the outside world, so it can start processing your inner world. It starts making these amazing connections between ideas and exploring thoughts without any interruption.
This is so key. Real creativity, real innovation, it incubates in the quiet. Just think about it for a second. When do you get your best ideas? Is it ever in a loud, crowded place? Or is it usually when you're in the shower, or on a quiet morning walk, or just sitting with a cup of coffee? That stillness isn't empty space. It's fertile ground. I absolutely love this quote because it just nails it. This isn't about avoiding the world because you can't handle it. It's that you don't always need it. You can generate all the stimulation you need right inside your own head. That rich inner world of yours is more than enough to keep you occupied and inspired.
Okay, so this is where we have to get really honest with ourselves for a minute. Because while choosing solitude is an amazing strength, it's also really important to know why we're choosing it. There's a huge difference between choosing home for a restorative rest and using it as a retreat to hide from the world out of anxiety or depression.
Now, this is just a question for some gentle self-reflection, not for judgment, seriously. From the outside, the two behaviors can look exactly the same. But on the inside, one choice is about feeling peaceful and enriched, while the other, it's about fear. And just knowing the difference is the first step toward growth.
So, let's do a quick self-check. First, think about your motivation. Are you actively choosing to be home because you're excited to work on a project, or read, or just enjoy the peace? Or is it more about avoiding the stress of going out? Second, check in with the feeling. Does staying home leave you feeling grounded, clear, and content? Or does it feel more numb, maybe anxious or disconnected? And finally, what's the result? After that time alone, do you feel recharged and more like yourself? Or do you kind of feel like your world got just a little bit smaller? See, one path leads to peace and creativity. The other can lead to feeling trapped. So after all of this, what's the big takeaway? What does it all mean? It really comes down to reframing this whole thing as a conscious, intelligent choice about how you manage your most precious resource, your energy.
Let's just say that again because it's important. Choosing stillness isn't antisocial. It's energetically intelligent. You're simply aware of your own operating manual. You know what you need to be at your best. Choosing depth over noise and meaning over constant momentum, that's not a weakness. It's a powerful and totally valid way to live your life.
And this is the ultimate point. This is empowerment. It's about finally stepping off that treadmill of what you're supposed to be doing. It's not about missing out. It's about tuning in. This kind of self-awareness is a huge step toward building a life that feels genuinely authentic to you, not just one that looks good from the outside.
Hey, so if any of this resonated with you, if it put words to something you've always felt, or just made you feel a little more seen, the best way to support what we do here is to just hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It honestly helps us so much and lets us keep making more explainers just like this one.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if, all this time, you weren't actually avoiding life? What if you weren't lazy or boring or antisocial? What if you were an architect, carefully and intentionally, curating a world that feels good on the inside? What would that change for you?